Firefighter training is not easy and it's not supposed to be. During this program, you're going to be pushed both physically and mentally. The technical skills, the tools, the tactics, the procedures, we can teach those to just about anyone who shows up and puts in the work. But the part that we can't teach is heart. That has to come from you. Heart is what gets you through the tough calls, the long nights, and the moments when the job demands more than you thought you had. If you bring that commitment, that drive, that willingness to grow, we can shape you into a firefighter that your community can count on. Everything we do in this program comes down to three expectations: work hard, have fun, and be safe. Working hard means showing up, ready to push yourself, ready to learn, and ready to earn the title that you are chasing. Having fun doesn't mean goofing off. It means embracing the challenge, enjoying the process, and finding pride in your progress. And above all, be safe. Safety isn't a slogan here. It isn't just a standard, it is the standard. It's how we protect ourselves, our crews, and the people we serve. That includes the taxpayers that give us their hard earned money and trust us to do something good with it. If you commit to these three things every day, you will get everything that this program has to offer. Our mission in the fire service is simple to say, but demanding to live out. We save lives and property while preserving the environment. Everything we do ties back to this mission, and we achieve it through four pillars: prevention, education, suppression, and rescue. Prevention keeps emergencies from happening in the first place. Education builds safer communities and better decision making. Suppression is the disciplined, coordinated work of controlling and extinguishing fire. Lastly, rescue is a commitment to act when someone's life depends on us. When you understand these pillars, you understand why this job matters and what this program is preparing you to do. In this profession, there are five values that guide our behavior. These are courage, honor, duty, respect, and integrity. Courage. What's this mean? Daring, fearless, intrepid? How about brave and being brave even when you're scared? It's about acting with purpose even when the risk is real. We have to use courage in our actions and in our words. Honor. What do you think of when you hear this word? Most people will say respect, esteem, or something along those lines. That's pretty good, but how about privilege? Did anyone come up with that one? It is an honor for me to be here. It is a privilege for me to be here because not everybody gets to be in the fire service. Duty. Oh man, I love this one. What does duty mean to you? Common answers are things like expectation, my job, or my responsibility, and those are all good choices. But how about obligation? Your duty is also your obligation. We don't always get to pick and choose our tasks, but we have a duty, an obligation to complete them anyway because we took an oath and people are counting on us to fulfill it. Respect. What do we think here? Approval, praise, acknowledgement. How about appreciation? Respect is all about recognizing the value in others, your teammates, the public, and the traditions of the fire service. Last but not least is integrity. What does integrity mean to you? Is it being truthful, sincere? How about incorruptible? Integrity is being the same person in the dark as you are in the light. We have to be a good, honest person all the time, not just some of the time or while on a call. Not only while people are watching or when you think you might get caught. There is nothing you can do or say to me that will make me cheat, steal, or resort to dishonesty. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. These values aren't just words, they're the standard that you're expected to live by. Qualifications to be a firefighter. Well, firefighting demands a real level of physical fitness. You're going to feel that throughout your career. The The job requires you to climb stairs and ladders with purpose, not just once, but repeatedly under load. You'll pull hose, move lines, and advance them in conditions that fight you every step of the way. You'll carry equipment that's awkward, heavy, and never seems to balance the way you want it to. You'll force doors, break through obstacles, and operate tools that require strength and control. On top of all that, you'll do it in extreme heat, bitter cold, and everything in between. This isn't about being a bodybuilder, it's about building the functional fitness that keeps you effective, keeps you safe, and keeps you in the fight when the job gets real. As a firefighter one, your role is built on mastering the fundamentals and performing them with consistency. That starts with being able to don and off your personal protective equipment properly. Every strap, every seal, every time. You'll select and use the right hand tools for the job, and you'll communicate on the radio with clear professional etiquette. You'll operate your SCBA with confidence because it's your lifeline in hazardous environments. You'll respond on the apparatus as part of a team arriving ready to work. Once you're on scene, you'll operate safely in the emergency work area, aware of your surroundings, your crew, and the hazards around you. You will force entry when conditions demand immediate access. You'll set up and operate ground ladders with speed, control, and crew coordination. You'll attack fire in multiple environments: vehicle fires, exterior structure fires, and interior operations where conditions change fast and visibility disappears. You'll conduct search and rescue inside structures, moving with purpose, discipline, and awareness. You also perform ventilation to control fire behavior and improve conditions for both victims and crews. More of your responsibilities are to overhaul a burned structure, searching for hidden fire and making sure it's truly out. You'll perform engine operations, stretching lines, establishing water supply, and supporting suppression efforts. You'll perform truck operations as well, from ladders to ventilation to access and support. You'll understand the class of fire, A, B, C, D, and K, and know exactly which extinguishing methods apply to each. You'll set up and use scene lighting to create a safer, more workable environment. And you'll manage utilities like gas, electric, and water to control hazards and stabilize the scene. You also combat ground cover fires where wind, terrain, and fuel can change conditions fast and demand disciplined, coordinated action. You'll clean and maintain your equipment because reliability on the fire ground starts with how you care for your tools back at the station. And above all, you'll operate as part of a team. Nothing we do is solo work. Every action you take affects the safety and success of the people beside you. No matter how good you are, we just can't accomplish very much by ourselves. Be a team player. The fire department can have many ranks, and each one carries its own level of responsibility and expectation. At the entry level, you may see explorers or cadets, young members learning the basics and getting exposure to the fire service. From there, you become a probationary firefighter, where you're proving your skills, your work ethic, and your commitment. Once you've earned it, you move into the role of firefighter, the backbone of the organization. Above that is the lieutenant, the first line of supervision, followed by the captain, who manages crews, stations, and operations. Next is the assistant or deputy chief, responsible for major divisions and strategic oversight. And at the top is the fire chief, the person ultimately accountable for the department's mission, its people, and its service to the community. Understanding this structure helps you see where you fit in today and where you can grow tomorrow. Depending on how your organization is structured, you may encounter additional roles that support the day to day operation of the department. You might have a secretary who handles records, documentation, and communication. A treasurer may manage budgets, purchases, and financial accountability. A training officer oversees drills, certifications, and the development of your skills. Some departments assign members to truck maintenance or building maintenance to keep apparatus and facilities in reliable working order. And the safety officer plays a critical role by monitoring hazards and ensuring safe practices on every scene. These positions may not be on the fire ground every minute, but they're essential to keeping the department running smoothly and keeping everyone ready to respond. Every job on the fire ground is critical to the success of the mission. Every job has to be done, and every job carries weight. It's easy to focus on where the action is. At a wreck, that's the vehicles and the patient care. But the people doing traffic control are the ones keeping everyone alive by protecting the scene. On a 110-degree summer day at a working fire, the person handing out water bottles is one of the most valuable people out there. When you stay at a hotel, you have no idea if the owner showed up for work or not, but if the person that puts toilet paper in the bathroom isn't there, then it doesn't take us long to figure out how important they really are. The point is simple: no task is beneath you, no assignment is unimportant, and no role is optional. When everyone does their job, the whole operation succeeds. In the fire service, EMS is one of the most important responsibilities we carry. Here in Illinois, the fire department is legally responsible for making sure there is transport ambulance service in the community, one way or another. And the reality is this: roughly 85% of all calls we respond to are EMS. That means the majority of the impact we make, the majority of the lives we touch, and the majority of the help we provide comes through those medical calls, not fire. EMS is the most direct and meaningful way we can serve our community. When you take EMS seriously, when you train hard and stay sharp, you're stepping into the part of this job where you will make the biggest difference. And if you are ever going to save a life, it is likely the EMS is how you will do it. In EMS, we operate under four basic certification levels, each with its own scope of practice and required training. The first is the EMR, the Emergency Medical Responder, trained to provide immediate life saving care and assist higher level providers. Next is the EMTB, the Emergency Medical Technician Basic, who handles patient assessment, basic interventions, and transport. Above that is the AEMT, or the Advanced EMT, who can perform limited advanced skills such as IV therapy and certain medications. And at the top is the paramedic, the highest pre hospital provider, trained in advanced airway management, cardiac care, pharmacology, and complex medical decision making. Each level builds on the one before it, expanding both capability and responsibility. Beyond emergency calls, we are a resource to the community in ways most people will never see. We provide labor and support for community events, helping make things run safely and smoothly. We assist with emergency management, stepping in wherever the community needs extra hands or expertise. And whether we like it or not, the public often expects us to be all knowing masters, the people who can solve any problem at any time in any situation. We do our best to live up to that expectation. That's part of the job. Being a firefighter isn't just about responding to calls, it's about being a dependable presence for the community every day in every way that they need us. Fire departments don't operate in a vacuum. We rely on help in many forms, and effective cooperation starts with the incident command system. ICS gives us a common language and structure so multiple organizations can work together without confusion. The most common form of assistance we use is mutual aid. These are neighboring departments responding to support us just as we support them. It's important to understand these agencies are our partners, not our competition. When we work together, share resources, and operate under a unified system, we deliver safer, stronger, and more efficient service to the community. As previously stated, we don't do this job alone. Fire departments work with a wide range of other organizations, each bringing skills and resources that we don't have. We work with other fire departments and ambulance services through mutual aid. We coordinate with law enforcement on scene safety, traffic control, and investigations. We interact with school administrators during drills, emergencies, and planning. We work with the coroner on fatal incidents, with hospitals to ensure smooth patient care and transport. We may partner with the military, local politicians, and a variety of local, county, and state agencies depending on the situation. At the federal level, we may work with FEMA or specialized search and rescue teams. Every one of these partners plays a role in helping us protect the community, and understanding how to work with them makes us stronger and more effective. Fire departments operate under a very specific framework of authority. We are granted our powers by local, state, and federal laws, and everything we do has to align with those laws. Depending on the community, we likely function as either a department of a village or as part of a fire protection district. But in both cases, we are a public agency with legal responsibilities. At the top of that structure is the fire chief. The chief is held accountable for the entire fire department, its operations, its personnel, its budget, and its performance. That accountability is exactly why the chief is in charge. Authority follows responsibility, and the chief carries the ultimate responsibility for how the department serves the community. Regulations are backed by law. They're created and enforced by governmental agencies like NIOSH, OSHA, and others at the local, state, and federal level. When a regulation exists, compliance isn't optional, it's a legal requirement. Standards, on the other hand, are consensus based. They're developed by organizations such as the National Fire Protection Association, bringing together experts to define best practices. While standards don't carry the force of law on their own, we are expected to meet them whenever possible because they represent the accepted level of safety and professionalism in the fire service. Regulations tell us what we must do. Standards tell us what we should do to operate safely and effectively. There is a catch to this. Laws and regulations will reference a standard. It is called incorporation by reference, or IBR. This practice borrows private, industry created criteria and makes them legally binding. This turns it into an unfunded mandate. While you may not be held to the standard on a day to day basis, the moment something goes wrong, you will be held accountable to the standard that you knew you were supposed to meet. The fire service has a long and rich history, stretching back far before the American fire service that we know today. One of the earliest organized firefighting forces was created by Augustus Caesar in 24 BC, known as the Familia Publica. These were slaves stationed around the city to act as fire watch, sounding the alarm and responding when flames broke out. By 60 AD, this system evolved into the Corps of Vigiles, a structured organization responsible not only for firefighting, but also for fire prevention and building inspections. They patrolled the streets, enforced safety measures, and fought fires with the tools and tactics of their time. The roots of our modern fire service can be traced directly to these early efforts to protect communities from fire. The first documented structure fire in North America occurred in Jamestown in 1607, right at the beginning of English settlement. As communities grew, so did the need for fire safety. Boston took an early lead by establishing fire regulations in 1630, setting rules for construction and fire prevention to protect the city from devastating loss. But Philadelphia is where the American Fire Service truly took shape. In 1735, Benjamin Franklin helped establish the first volunteer fire company, a model built on community service, organization, and shared responsibility. That volunteer system became the foundation of the fire departments that we know today. For most of our history, firefighter training and education happened at the local level. Skills were passed down from member to member with no standardization and a whole lot of opinion mixed in. That meant training quality could vary wildly, and much of what was taught wasn't accurate or consistent. Over time, the fire service recognized the need for professional, validated training. Today, certification is offered on a national level through the National Board of Fire Service Professional Qualifications, the Pro Board, and the International Fire Service Accreditation Congress, or IFSAC. On the state level, most states offer certification through their Office of State Fire Marshal's Office that meets or exceeds the national levels. These organizations ensure that when you earn a certification, it meets a recognized and accepted standard. This shift from tradition based training to accredited competency based certification is one of the biggest steps forward in the modern fire service. Fire equipment in the United States has evolved dramatically over the centuries. In the earliest days, the fire service relied on the simplest tools: leather buckets, wooden ladders, and fire hooks used to pull down burning structures. As communities grew, these basic tools gave way to hand powered pumps, which allowed firefighters to move water more effectively. The next major leap came with steam powered engines, bringing real mechanical force to the fire ground for the first time. Today, we operate diesel powered apparatus with advanced pumping systems, composite ladders that are lighter and stronger than ever, and modern safety gear designed to protect us in environments those early firefighters never could have imagined. The evolution of our equipment reflects the evolution of the fire service itself, always adapting, always improving, always working to keep our communities safe. Modern U.S. fire service exists inside of a massive nation, roughly 400 million people. And out of that population, about 1.3 million serve as firefighters. What surprises most new members is the breakdown. Only about 25% of firefighters in America are full time career personnel. The remaining 75% are volunteers in some fashion. That means if you're a volunteer, then you are the majority. You are the backbone of the American Fire Service. So when someone throws around the phrase real firefighters, remember this: the people who leave their homes, their families, and their jobs to answer the call, that's you. Volunteers carry the weight of this profession in thousands of communities across the country, and the fire service wouldn't function without them. Are there differences between full time career firefighters and volunteers? You bet. The biggest one is opportunity. A full time guy or gal generally has a higher call volume and hence more experience. That's why if you're a volunteer, you need to be constantly training so that you can offset that lack of experience. One thing we need to ensure is that we don't ever use the term just volunteers. This implies that a lesser standard based upon pay is acceptable. The community you serve expects a rock star to show up every time they call 911. Be sure to give them what they deserve. In the United States, there are about 30,000 fire departments serving communities of every size. Here in Illinois, that number today is exactly 1,163 departments across the state. Each one looks a little different than the next. Each one is structured a little differently than the next, but together they form the network that protects nearly 13 million Illinois residents. When you join a department, you're not just joining a local team. You're becoming part of a massive state and national system built on service, readiness, and community protection. This is the end of chapter 1. If you have any questions, please reach out to myself or one of your other instructors. I thank you for your time.